Moving on. And I hope this isn't preachy. Oh dear. So here's the deal. I'm not an environmentalist, and this is not an ism. Most of the reason I'm doing this trackers program is for selfish reasons. I don't really like living in houses anymore. At the same time, it's all Earth. But I will say this. We live in one of the greenest cities in the country, and everything seemingly is all right. But I also see that, as a whole, our culture has lived in a way that is not sustainable, and mostly society hasn't changed much. We recycle at my house, we compost, we garden, we try to create as little waste as possible. But when I took a quiz to test how much I consumed, I found out that it would take 5.5 Earths to sustain a world of people like me. Now, I see in the long run this is really not gonna work. Yet at the same time, it's how our system works, and it's really difficult to live any other way when we're so entrenched in how we live. Our whole system is based on largely non-renewable resources. Plastics, fossil fuels, everything that has to be thrown away. Our fuel and power system is such that we are melting our ice caps, we're trapping our greenhouse gases, creating tons and tons of waste, and largely living in a way that won't sustain us for the next 100 years. So the question is, what do we want to do about it? What do I want to do about it? And why does it matter? From the time I was born, I've been immersed in nature. I've spent a large amount of my life in the forest, with trackers, backpacking with my dad in the mountains, seeing the Milky Way at 10,000 feet, simply loving the nature around me. I don't want to grow up in a world that lives on a grid of buildings. I don't want to grow up in a world where there's no forests left. I think the human race has a lot of potential. There are some incredible people in the world right now, and because of that potential, I think it'd be a good opportunity for the human race to be around for a while, if we change. I have this dream that someday humans will be able to live, not as an invasive species, but fully naturalized to the world around us. And up till about 100 years ago, in a large part, that's how it was. And there's lots of technology being made today that can help that out. I don't really have the answers, and I'm not here to tell you how to live. I don't really know how to live myself. But the simple question, how much do I need, is kind of an interesting one. I know what I need. I need healthy, unprocessed food, nature, clean water, and places to sleep. I need love and community and to be around people and places I feel connected to. And I want this for future generations to come. As nature has been a constant thread through my life, so has music. When we lived in France, my dad would join in with gypsies and street musicians on his harmonica, getting them dancing and clapping and laughing at the foreigner who could play their music. Inadvertently, he probably distracted them to help pick a pocket or two. My dad would always sing Tibetan chants to me, with melodies he'd made up or adapted. And in 5th grade, I discovered, kind of for the first time, my love of singing. In the 5th grade choir, and then in the ACMA choir with Molly Schultz. As most people, most people my age, I guess, I was spending a lot of time listening to rock music. Then the summer between 7th and 8th grade, my life changed again, when my mom signed me up for a week-long summer camp run by School of Rock. At that time, I played a little bit of bass, but I really just wanted to sing. That week, 4 seasoned rock musicians turned camp counselors taught the 11 students or so how to play 10 classic rock songs. And on Friday night, we put on a concert. It was my first time singing solo on stage, and there I was singing Ziggy Stardust in my vaguely goat-like David Bowie voice. Very quickly, all my fears melted away, and all that I was left with was elation. I joined the year-round School of Rock program that fall, and I've been a student ever since. Projector. Let's try this. I've performed well over 80 shows in 8 states, sometimes playing to crowds of over 50,000 people. I've learned to play bass, guitar, and drums, and I've stretched my vocal range and ability far beyond what I believe possible for me. I've played many different types of music on many different instruments, from Frank Zappa to a transvestite in full makeup as Hedwig from Hedwig and the, oh, wrong picture. Hedwig. No, that's bass. Yeah, a little behind here. Hedwig from Hedwig and the Angry Inch. That lady did my makeup right there. Good job.
So, who was Harry?
Who's Harry?
Not Harry Potter.
Yes, not Harry Potter. This is not an owl. I've taken what I've learned from playing other people's music and applied it to writing and recording my own music. I've made lifelong friends with kids from all over the city and found mentors in the teachers and musicians who've shared their experience and knowledge. And I have my band. Stand Back, it's reaching critical mass. They're wonderful. And the first band I've ever had that actually works, which is kind of a big thing. Oh yeah, I'm done with that slideshow. Okay. The experience of playing music on stage is a difficult thing to describe. I could tell countless stories, but what I live for in music is this. When I'm so immersed in music that all the fear fades away, and suddenly I feel like I'm being fed with energy and constantly feeding the crowd with energy in this kind of feedback loop. Those fantastic moments of oneness where the whole crowd is dancing or feeling or seeing exactly what I'm singing. This is obviously idealistic. See, I feel completely different than what I wrote. But when I feel that I'm completely connected to everyone in the room, the experience changes. Sometimes it's a frenzy, joyful energy that flows out and pervades the whole room. Sometimes it's anger or sadness. Sometimes it's pure love. Once singing in front of 2,000 people at an outdoor concert in Bend, everything kind of melted away. And there was no me anymore. It's kind of like the whole Trackers experience. And I realized that that's kind of what I live for. That moment where self melts away and you're just left with exactly what you're doing right there. I felt my energy raise until I was kind of floating, and the everyday me was dissolved, and there was no person left. There are moments like that all the time. And for that reason, music and performing will always be a part of who I am and what I give of myself. It's a really difficult thing to describe. For the next part of my capstone, I would like you to simply have the experience of music. I'm going to play 4 songs. The first is a song by Jeff Buckley, a singer who has continually inspired me to reach higher and become a better singer. It is his music that will be my very last performance with School of Rock on May 27th at Backspace. $5. Let's shamelessly self-promote at Capstones. Good job, Galen. The second and third songs will be performed by our band, Stand Back, It's Reaching Critical Mass, and represent what's possible when making music with good friends. And the last song is one of my own.